Hi, how are you? Praise God. In this video, we're going to analyze the Samaritan Act 1, Scene 1. I'm going to give you a story about the parable of the Samaritan from the Bible. In this video, I'm going to give you a synopsis of the chapter. Then we have the themes, the styles, and the character traits, all on my website. So to get all my lesson notes on the Samaritan, click the first link in the description to subscribe in order to access. So let's go back to the synopsis of scene 1. And for us to understand the scene, we need to understand the parable of the Samaritan. I'm going to try to explain it. I'm going to try to be a priest and explain it. This is how it happened. This man was walking from Jerusalem to Jericho. On his way, he was attacked by robbers, was beaten and left for the dead. Coincidentally, a priest was using the same road. He saw the man lying down, but then he walked on the other side. He did not help the man. And number 2, the Levite was walking using the same road. He saw the man, looked at the man, but then he did not aid the man. The third man to come was the Samaritan. And this Samaritan had compassion. He helped the man, dressed his wound, took care of him, poured some wine, if I remember correctly, and then took him to an inn, cared for him for a day, and left him under the care of the innkeeper. And actually he paid the bill and promised to come and pay the remaining bill. From that small parable, we can conclude that there are 2 things actually. The Samaritan can be seen as a helper. And number 2, we have hypocrisy. The priest and the Levite, by sharing the same religious view with the man, they did not help him. But this Samaritan, who were rivals, the Samaritans and the Jews, helped the man who was actually lying down. So we can see the major thing here is hypocrisy. Hypocrisy in leadership. Those who expect that are going to help us, they don't. In fact, they are the one who make us suffer the most. So now let's go back to this book, The Samaritan. Since the book is about the governance, we have the strategies that the bad leaders use to ensure that they continue staying in power, and that is intimidation and deception. We'll come to see that as we progress analyzing the book. So the scene, the summary, let me give you the synopsis. It takes place at Sagrada Secondary School during the end of year closing day in the school hall. At what time was it? Give me your answer on the comments. So the mayor and his entourage visited Sagrada Secondary School for 2 purposes. Before I tell you the purpose, who accompanied the mayor to the school, write me your comments. So 1, he was to launch the Samaritan App, which is the winning innovation in the year's secondary school competition. And number 2, he was to award the 2 students who developed the app. This app, the Samaritan, is introduced by Miss Nicole in a skit performed by her and the 2 students, that is Alvita and Monteno. In the skit, the 2 students visited the future, and their future is contrasted. Let's begin with Monteno's future. Monteno's future is full of hopelessness. It's bleak. There is poverty. Due to poverty, life expectancy had dropped drastically, and this is because people could not afford the medicine. Again, there is climate change. The weather patterns have changed and could hardly support the plant and animal lives. And number 3, we have the crime rates and insecurity had increased because there is poor governance, there is poor leadership. The law enforcers and judges could only serve those who grease their palms. In other words, those who bribe them. So for that reason, people had to look for their own security measures that led to the increase in crime rates. And then we have unemployment. Despite their education, Alvita and Monteno could not secure a good job. So this leads to our second question, or the third question. What was the occupation of Alvita and Monteno? Give me your answers in the comments. We can therefore conclude that Monteno's future represents the current state of Maracas municipality. Go to Alvita's future. It's different. There is not suffering. People are not suffering. Instead, there is civilization. There is development. In our future, there is advanced technology, such that robots had replaced professions like judges and police officers, thus ensuring that there is no discrimination. To add on that, life expectancy had increased to over 700 years because of the availability of drugs. Again, there was the technology for cleaning carbon emission and the technology for making the rains. According to Alvita, there is a possibility of having a better Maracas, but there is one problem. The problem is not lack of resources, but it is the mismanagement of resources by those in authority. If the resources are managed well in Maracas municipality, if the resources are managed well in Kenya, Uganda or Tanzania, then there is going to be development. So, in a nutshell, Alvita's future shows us there is that possibility of attaining a better Maracas municipality only if the leaders ensure that resources are used well. So on learning that the app can expose the rot in the municipality, Mayor Mosi declines the launch of the app, claiming that they need time to reflect on its implication. He then commanded Nicole to look for a way to halt the Samaritan app, but Nicole is presented as a confident, as a firm woman, and she tells the mayor that she is going to do what she thinks is right. And that is where the whole chapter ended. So at this point, the conflict of the play is developing. And we have this question on Nicole being firm. It's a major examinable question in the KCSE essay, and it starts here. So for the themes and the styles and the characterization, click the first link in the comment and subscribe to our website to access my simplified